Wage peace with your breath, wage healing with your touch, wage compassion with your eyes, wage peace. Wage acceptance with your mind, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage peace. Wage peace with your breath, wage healing with your touch, wage compassion with your eyes, wage peace. Wage acceptance with your mind, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage peace. Wage peace with your breath, wage healing with your touch, wage compassion with your eyes, wage healing with your touch, wage acceptance with your mind, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage healing with your touch, wage compassion with your eyes, wage healing with your touch, wage acceptance with your mind, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage peace with your touch, wage compassion with your touch, wage compassion with your touch, wage acceptance with your mind, wage acceptance with your mind, wage justice with your life, 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 wage peace, wage peace.
Thank you for joining us again today as we reflect on peace and nonviolence as a part of our celebration this week of the International Day of Peace. The mission of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet and Consociates is a mission of unifying love. Today, we reflect with Char Madigan as we look at the importance of community as an active ingredient in peace and nonviolence. The 2019 Congregational Chapter compels this community to live authentically their identity as the congregation of great love of God and our charism of loving God and neighbor without distinction. We're excited to host Char Madigan today as we continue our reflections on peace and nonviolence. So thank you, Sister Char Madigan, for joining us today for the International Day of Peace. We know that peace and nonviolence is very important to this community. The 2019 chapter made a recommitment to peace and nonviolence. So thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts and reflections about peace and nonviolence. So to begin, what does nonviolence mean to you?
I suppose it's kind of in all our DNAs. It's a kind of a coping method for dealing with conflict, and tools that we've got in that same DNA are things like love my enemy or kill my enemy. I suppose my childhood, in a way, there were fights going on in the family and neighbors and world, and that scared me. And I coped by kind of being nice and liking everybody. And I began to develop a preference for listening and questioning more than giving answers, finding out what other people think, not condemning.
In your journey of learning about nonviolence, was there like a particular peace quote or a person who inspired you?
I think my dad early on, I remember once going to deliver groceries, and we were very poor. I didn't know it till I got to high school, and other people had rugs on their floor. But we would bring this basket up to some friend he knew that was sick. And on the way home, we're talking about it. Well, it's nice we did that. And my dad said, you know, when somebody's hungry, it isn't charity to feed them, it's justice. I've never forgotten it, and I think it influenced me a lot. And then, of course, Dorothy Day, and then Peter Morin, Dorothy's friend, and he said there ought to be, besides a parish dome, there ought to be a parish home. And so that's what got a couple of us, Rita Steinhagen and I, we were at St. Stephen's, which is a very progressive parish too, and seeing people homeless. So we decided to just find a house to live in and offer hospitality, and that started St. Joseph's House. Then we realized that they didn't need just 30 days, they needed their own place. So we started renting houses, and one thing led to another. Now we got 4 corners and probably 300 households.
Well, Sister Char, you say that nonviolence and peace is in our DNA. It's a part of who the sisters are. How have you seen this as a part of your CSJ charism, your being a sister of St. Joseph?
I think living in community is a real key thing, is that we don't, and that's true in the whole world, and it's true in nature. We're in communion with each other, and our inheritance of this whole nation from the Native American people who had nurtured Earth and been nurtured by Earth is very inspiring to me, and God's way of telling us what's important to do, not dominate it and then find another planet to live on. That's one thing. And the CSJ, so the CSJ thing about community and about working with the poor, meeting the needs of the poor. And about community with each other, that we can't do it alone. So we gotta find groups to do it with. And not trying to tell people what's good for them.
Well, how have you been living peace and nonviolence in your daily life, especially now at Carondelet Village?
Well, I suppose from just what I've learned all along, to try to listen and learn. And now I got to learn from the whole world what's going on and why is it happening. And it turns out that it seems a lot of it is the United States, or of us, the haves. So to try to balance that so it's more equal for everybody. I see that in the relationship between, for African Americans and for women. So I just try to connect and keep learning. Like we're just saying, I just said in my morning prayer, I don't know, I just sit and look out the window at nature, and I have this words I say, that be still, behold, be held by God, breathing love. Bow down, cry thanks, love. So that's kind of my goal in my life.
Wow, that's a powerful prayer.
Yeah, really beautiful. How would you envision a more just world for all?
It's in a certain way, it's all the same answers. Stop killing enemies and start listening to each other, individually and internationally. And we see so many examples of, and we wrote this book about St. Joe's about 10 years ago, and we called it The End of One Right Way. There is no one right answer, and everybody who doesn't have that answer is wrong. and to be still and listen, and to learn, to keep studying, reading, conferences, Marty's stuff, your stuff.
Well, thank you, Sister Char. Again, hopefully people this week are reflecting on what peace and nonviolence is about, and maybe they'll reflect on your words in your daily prayer. But thank you, Char, for sharing your wisdom with us.
Well, thank you for asking. Blessings.
Blessings on your day too. Thank you.
We are so grateful to Char for sharing her heart with us today. Woven throughout her challenging message was the need for listening. So today, we are all invited to pause and to truly be open to the sound and the story of others, without agenda, without a desire to interrupt, without the need to respond, but to calmly, authentically listen and learn. For our blessing today, we are all invited to reflect on the beautiful prayer that Char offered to us. We wish you peace.